And that brings us, we can run through these next two methods rather quickly. So the next is the fourth, to raise your standards. Raise your standards in your relationship. Raise your standards for your partner. My beautiful woman, God bless her, she talks about how for years she's written in journals. And she's reading to me her journal the other day where she talks about how at the beginning of our relationship, and even obviously in the middle points, when we started dating, we came from very different family backgrounds. And there were the things that she would help me do where I was kind of a messy guy, a little bit disorganized, a little bit low on the conscientiousness scale. I have vastly improved. But, she would always say, Jordan, why don't you make your bed? And I would say, well, I want to come back to it the way that I left it. Why do I have to make something that I'm going to destroy later on? And, as I did my personal development and took on the mentorship and guidance of a beautiful human named Jordan Peterson, I realized that every morning that I wake up, I needed to keep doing things that would set the tone for the day, that would set the tone for my life. And I started making my bed. I started doing this little thing each day to help myself stay a little bit more organized, to help clean up my life and clean up my act. But then as she's looking through her journal, my girlfriend also realizes that I've helped raise the standard of thinking in her own life. As I put it, I've helped her elevate the conversation with herself. And when it comes to personal development, that third method, raising your standards is of the highest necessity. Because if your standards are low, then that's where you're aiming. You're aiming down. You have to aim up. What's the saying? You shoot for the stars, you land on the moon. The least you can do is shoot up and raise up. And you want to raise your standards up because, and this ties into personal development. So in a way, we're going to kind of weave these two together and weave the last one into this as well. So when it comes to your own state of being, how you wake up, how you approach the day, how you look at your life, that scarcity mindset versus that abundance mindset. You raise your standards by choosing abundance, by choosing to feel good and feel strong and enthusiastic and excited, not overly optimistic and delusional, but strong, confident, certain that you are here to give yourself to become the best, and you're raising your standards each day, learning new skills. Jason Capital calls it Kaizen, where you're going to put a brick down each day, little by little. You have to build up yourself, raise your standards, and realize that the plateaus that you have in your relationship, the plateaus that you have in your life, the feeling like nothing that you're doing is working. Well, Einstein, what did Einstein say? That if you do something over and over, thinking that you're going to get a different result, that's what we call insanity. So it's time to raise your standards. Do something else. Go for a walk. Take a jog. Stop eating as much. Look at your partner. Encourage them to do things with you. Raise your standards by making sure they understand that it's unacceptable to be in a relationship, to share this world, and not be there for each other. That we need a partnership. That if we're going to be in this together, we both need to be clean people. We both need to be hygienic people. We both need to be open and aware of each other. We both need to be ready to confront the world and its challenges together. We both need to prepare for our future together. We need to raise our standards by having money in the bank, by saving together, by creating a cooperative dream together. So, taking it back to that masculine feminine thing, if you're the masculine person in your relationship, you have to provide a vision by raising the standard of what your feminine is reaching for, what your woman or, your womanly man is reaching for. You have to help your partner realize this is the vision for where we're taking our lives. This is where our standards will be raised. One day we'll be millionaires. One day we'll be the leading charity givers of the world. One day we're going to make the best coffee in the world and we're going to open it and it'll be, Buckstar and it's going to kill Starbucks. You've got to raise the standard and raise the conversation that you guys have. And one way that we do this is by asking ourselves powerful questions. Now, if you've heard this in other lessons, again, I bring it up here because setting the stage for elevating your consciousness and raising those standards comes from the questions we ask ourselves. Ask your partner, why is it that you're cleaning up your act so well? Why is it that you're becoming such a clean person? Why is it that you're always helping me out? Figure out a way to ask a question that elevates them. Figure out a way to ask the questions that elevate you. Raise your standards. They say the standard is the flag. So you've got to hold up your flag. You're not going to surrender, but you're going to make it clear. You're going to dig that flag in. You're here to stay. You love this person, and you're ready to change, and you're ready to help them change as well. Now, the last method is managing expectations. Managing expectations. So I bring this up, and I believe that this is an important place for us to really wrap up these methods, is because one of my clients was going through a terrible breakup in her marriage. They were together for about 5-6 years, and the marriage started to fall apart. And they did not raise their standards together. One person decided to raise her standards while her husband decided not to raise his. And they found themselves with unmanageable expectations of each other. And she was in this situation where she wanted him to step up and be more of a man in this relationship. She needed more certainty from him. She needed him to step up and love her more and give her attention and cooperation and affirm her and help her see that we can do this. That this vision that I have for my life, this vision that I have for our family, you're on board with it. And he wasn't. He wasn't ready to become someone else. He wasn't ready to become more of the man that she sees in him. He resisted her, he denied her, and he rejected her. And as a result, excuse me one second, cat's looking to escape. And as a result, their marriage fell apart. And it's hard because I'm the kind of person who believes that you're in it to win it. I'm in it to win it. And when the going gets really freaking tough, we're going to hold out and do the best that we can to make this work. Because at the end of the day, this is the greatest risk you'll ever take. And this person who you share your life with deserves to know that we're both going to meet at this point in our lives. We're going to decide to be with each other. And, this is where I want to take my life. Where do you want to take yours, and how can we make it work for us both? How can we both win? You want to travel the world? Well, I want to travel as well. I just need to make sure that, the book I've always wanted to write is written. I need to make sure that the degree that I always wanted to get is gotten. Manage your expectations. Manage where you want to take your relationship. Yes, raise your standards, of course, but manage each other. My woman, she reminds me all the time that, Jordan, unless we spend time together, how are we going to grow together?